Hi everyone, welcome to the round 5 from the 2013 British Chess Championships Major Open, and I was rather annoyingly paired against another Greater Manchester player, Phil Olbison of Ng6 Kg8 and 1997 FIDE. He's been up to 177 and has a rapid of about 190, and he's known for, well, he beat Hebden in one of the rapid players, who as we know is a GM, and has beaten Nakamura in 1 minute chess online. So this is not going to be an easy game, and he also had a 2-0 record against me going into the game, and had pasted me with black pieces with the French not too long before. So of course, no hacking this time, because I opened with a very solid English opening, and then proceeded to set up a very Dolphy and kettle in front of my king. Bye bye to your hacking friend. Nice dull setup. But actually I wasn't using this just to draw, I was using it to actually to win the game. Because I thought if I can stall this hacking, then I can positionally beat him on the queen side. D3, E5, Rook B1, so the plan is to get a B4, B5, because at some point I'll probably play C6 to control D5, and then you've got the standard plan of B4, B5. Now we played knight H5. So the point of this move is to clear the path for the f-pawn to advance, because one of black's main weapons at hacking in the King's Indian is to use the f-pawn. Then move it to like f4 and then take on g3, open up the f-file, then maybe get rid of my three kettled bishop on the queen side and get some stuff going. I played bishop d2. The reason I played this move was because I wanted to keep the knight protected in case I wanted to play b4, and I didn't like the look of the knight hanging with potential tactics down diagonal. It's not good. Now I played h6 because if he plays f5 immediately, you have to watch out for knight g5 coming into e6. So that's a fox. He has to move this knight. And same move goes knight b6. Then we've got moves like queen b3, threatening like a discovery. So we've got to play something like c5, and now the d6 pawn is backward and weak. The d5 square is at hull, and also to make it worse, the knight's very out of play, and I can play something like a4 and get a very strong initiative. In fact, this threatens a5, which would force the knight. The only square the knight has got is to go back to d7, which allows knight e6. We've got to play h6. Then we just play a5 anyway. So we've got to take this knight, then we take this one. After knight d5, this is just tremendous for white. So that's why f5 can't be played immediately, and he played h6 wisely first to stop that. That gives me another tempo, so I played b4. I also playing queen c1 to try and force king h7, but I thought this is not a concession for black. So b4, getting on with the plan, and now f5, black's got to be getting his counterplay. But you see, my king side is very solid in this line, so I was like, good luck hacking this. I've also got my c5 break as well. So this is a nice solid advantage for white this position. And in this position now I played e4, which is maybe not the best. I think I panicked a bit. I also played e3 actually, just to try and stop f4 for good, but I didn't like. I thought it was a bit passive and blocks my bishop out of the game. Maybe consider playing a5 as your standard plan, a3, and then takes to get an a file. The reason I played e4 was I was trying to provoke f4, and I thought now I've got a nice grip on d5, and also if he plays f takes e4, I take back with the knight, and my knight is on an absolutely wonderful square, and I've got moves like knight h4 next, probing the g6 point. So this is a nice position. Say if he retreats his knight from the rim, I play knight h4, hitting it, queen e8. Now I can play moves like queen e2, and it's a very nice position for white. So f4 got played as I expected, win on the hack, and now actually I looked at first playing g4. Knight goes back, I play. I'll also first look at g5, which I think is the best, and then say takes, knight takes, trying to get into e6, but I think he just plays queen e7 after queen b3. Just moves his king, and I don't think I've got anything in this position. Tries my h4, but doesn't do anything. Another alternative I looked at after this was to play h3, trying to completely block up the king side, so I could do whatever I want on the queen side. But say if he plays h4, then that's not so great. So we've got g5, knight back, and h4, which completely stagnates black's king side play. And as long as I keep my knight in f3, there isn't any sacks on g5, because of course I think I've got to keep the knight in f3, because then the sack can be quite dangerous, and then I can just kill him on the queen side. Another option after h5 is to play, actually to take it, surprisingly. After knight takes, move queen b3 again, trying to get c5 check in to cause some nasty problems for king h8. And then h4 to cement the g5 square, which should be okay for white. But then I thought, if I had better, I went knight h4 instead, which is interesting, because there's potential lines if I take on g6 and then the knight in h5 is hanging. And some nasty tactics. So we played king up to h7. And now I looked at, I first looked at playing queen g4, but I thought it doesn't do anything after queen e8. I thought I'm just going to move his knight. He's going to move his knight and I have to move my queen again. But maybe it's quite good actually, because if I move the queen back to get out of the way of discoveries, I've done a thing where it looks like I've wasted a move, but the point is queen e8 is not a useful move for black in this position. It's actually quite a bad move, because the queen wants to be shooting out to g5 and h4, not staring at a pawn. But I didn't appreciate that at the time. I played bishop h3, which is quite a useful idea, where poking the bishop out from its fianchetto position, and also a threat actually. In fact, my opponent played f takes g3, and now here is your test for this game. You've got to analyse the consequences of 14 knight takes g6. So pause the video if you want to have a go at that. Okay, I will resume. After the game, e4 knight takes g6 was a win for me, and we all did actually. But actually, although it's one of the best moves, it's actually not quite that strong as we think. I didn't play it because I was like, the move I was worried about actually is bad for black. The move I was worried about was this, but it doesn't do anything. You just take it, and it actually opens up the g file for my rook. And now black's in big trouble. He's got to actually play knight f4. Now we just take it off and in fact, win a rook. So what is the point of knight takes g6? Well, if king takes g6, this is losing for black. We play bishop 5 check. Rook takes is dreadful, so he has to move the king back. He has to actually go back to f7, then we take this knight with check. If the king e7 gets mated in one move, as does king f6. Knight d5 mate. So he has to go back to g8. And then we just calmly take this pawn back, or even stronger still is to play bishop takes h6, and white is winning. A pawn over a cushion attack. So the knight is immune. The only little flaw to it is the rook takes f2. That's the only move that saves the black. And then we can play rook takes f2, g takes f2. We can maybe a danger to take it, so we'll take it anyway. And then knight to f4, challenging that strong knight, and after takes bishop f5, king g8, and this is slightly better for white. It's equal material, but to be honest, I think this is much better for white. But although after knight e5, maybe it's not so clear. But I'd much rather be white in this position, because that f pawn's going to drop. Oops. King e2. And this is very good for white. Another line is after rook takes f2, we can try throwing bishop f5, because now we've got like the knight hanging as well. But black can play rook takes h2 in this position. And in fact the best white score is to play knight takes e5 check. That's the only good discovery. And after king g8 is probably should have a perpetual check. Otherwise black's get a pawn over too much counterplay. So yeah, so f takes g3 is actually not a good move, and I was just scared of him taking h2 with check. So I saw a lot of these lines which I showed you, but I know some reason I didn't play it. And that's not the first time in this tournament, and that won't be the last time where I see I rook takes g3 in the previous game, where I'll see a brilliant move, but I just won't play it. I won't have the ball to play it, but in a blitz game or analysing it, I'd see it instantly. That's one of my main weaknesses, that just missing seeing good moves and not actually playing them. I think maybe it's a confidence issue. So of course after bishop h3, I expected him to do something about that threat, like maybe move this knight in. But I'll be content in this position because I can play bishop takes c8, because usually in the King's Indian it's good to get rid of the it's good to get rid of the light square bishops, even in this line, because black's light square bishop is actually a very dangerous piece, and the dark square bishops usually completely blocked in. Saying g4. Now how is this not winning the piece? Oh yeah, because this knight moves and my knight's hanging, but I can do this again actually. I have king takes it, oh can't take it, so king has to go back. But now black starts to get counterplay. Got maybe the rook coming in as well, rook g8, move the bishop and then hack attack down the g file. I think he'd love this sort of position. Yeah, so f takes g3, I just took back and said I'm going to play the next move, but now he plays knight f4, which I completely overlooked, and it's actually very annoying. Because it seems that the best move, actually I played a horrendous strategical move just to save a pawn. Like, it's just a move I just could not play, but I had to. The best move is to play Bxd4, because actually if knight takes d3, we've got the sack again actually. So after queen e2, the knight is trapped. And now I've kept my dark square bishop. I've got the sack again actually. In fact, if king f6 is a nice little mate in two actually. It's quite nice. King e7 gets mated like it did earlier. So the king has to go back to g8. We'll take this pawn. But of course in this position black can play this. It's not that. But again this is very strong for white actually. No, not this piece. We take with this piece. This is very good for white. So of course after bishop g4, which if I'd seen the black one take this pawn, I'd definitely have played it, because the move I played is just horrendous. Bishop takes f4. I mean, it's just, there's about 52 things wrong with this move, but I'm just saying a few. It's giving up my dark square bishop and opening up blacks in the process to be unopposed and very dangerous. So after he takes back, he realised I was in trouble. Now something really horrible actually happened actually. In this event there was this scene event going on, and one of the players in it, who I played twice when I was in minors, we were winning the draw, actually collapsed, and I think in some kind of epileptic fit. And it was just really awful, because I got a view of it as well, and it made like a noise, and I was worried he might have died or something. And we had to stop the clocks at one point. Like, I think so a lot of people in the main championship actually just agreed draws at that point, because it was really not nice. And luckily he got sent to hospital, and he only had to stay overnight, and he was back playing in the second weekend, and nothing else happened to him. I'm not sure what caused it. It was really not nice. And it was very good of my friend Lee to go and visit him in hospital the next day. It's a very nice thing to do. And then they got left together, I've heard. Well, yeah, this is when it happened. It was my move 16 in this game, and I actually played what I thought was a complete clanger, but actually it was one of the best moves. I actually rushed in. I waited 10 minutes thinking this position because I knew I just played the perfect move to regain myself, but I see what was going on and it was just really put off, so I just played this instantly, which is the most natural move, but it has a bit of a flaw to it. But I'm already in trouble anyway. I looked at briefly, just before it happened. I was looking at 92, and then F3, forcing knight back to C1, and decided this was too awful to contemplate, but it's not that bad. So I played the active move. So now what I expected was him to play FG, FG, C6, and then I play knight back to, no, I don't play that, that's a blunder. Knight back to F4. And here we might was checking, but I'm surviving. But now I came with this move C6, and I realised to my horror that my knight is a little bit on the trap side. Well, it's not actually trapped, but I do not want to play knight takes F4 due to a tactic. But again, this move again, knight takes G6 seems to save me, so maybe C6 was a bad move. Because if he takes the knight, we take this pawn with check. And if King H7, we've got knight E6. So, play has to take it. Which also messes up the pawns around my king, but I've got a nice little central steamroller. We try and Queen H4 can be answered by simply by Queen F3. And I've got a rook and 2 pawns for the 2 pieces, so I've got enough material, and I've got a potential attack as well, moving the king and rook G1. So this is quite nice. But I played knight takes F4, and I've seen this tactic out next. Rook takes F4. Well, of course, if I take it back, then I've lost 2 pieces for a rook, and my king's very open. So, and this was just too awful to contemplate. So Queen takes H4, and then Queen G4 is like the only move, and then he plays his knight to E5. I've got to take. And it goes with check. Take this. And knight F3, and black has at least a small advantage in this ending, because my rooks are pretty useless. So actually, after about 52 moves, I've been able to play it. I finally played the sack. Knight takes G6, and I was starting to regain my composure. I was trying to do as well. So here we go. He has to move the rook now. So it went back to F7. Bishop F5 is the follow-up, of course, threatening potential discoveries, but sadly there isn't any good ones. I've not got enough for the piece. I've got 2 pawns, so there's not really enough. He played rook back to F6 though, which seems to let it back into the game. Because now I played knight E7 check, King H8, and now this is where I missed my chance. I should have grabbed this. I should definitely have grabbed this bishop. It looks rather strange swapping off pieces when you're behind. You're usually told not to do that, but this is a very nice bishop I've got rid of. After rook takes C8, something like D4. And there's probably enough compensation for the piece in this position with this very strong bishop. But I just went back. For some reason I thought I had a perpetual, but of course it's just easily avoided. And I tried C5, a nice little tricky move where I try and get Queen B3 checking, and if he lets me play Queen B3 check, then I could be mating him. But he just blocks it with D5. And then I started to realise I had no attack. I played Queen to G4, trying to get something else going. And now actually, the move he played, which I thought was like the only move to save him, is actually, there's plenty of other good moves actually. Queen E8 is actually the strongest move, because it's just stopping Bishop E6 check and keep holding the knight. He played Knight F8, which is also strong, because it forces pieces off. So it's one I'd play. And now the only move I really had to stay in the game was to play knight back to H4, which is what I looked at. Say if Bishop takes F5, after knight takes F5, there's plenty of compensation. So his best is probably just going to be the rook back to F7. And it's still a game. There's also a nice little cheapo turn where I could have tried bishop takes c8, but it's too strong tactical to fall for this, so I'll just play rook takes g6 and I can resign. There's a trap that if he plays rook takes c8, then all of a sudden I'm winning because I play queen takes c8, queen takes c8, knight e7 check, and also I'm exchanging 2 pawns up. Against a lesser player I might have tried that, but nah, it's just easy, just rook takes g6. I played knight e7 check, and a tricky move, but it's rather flawed. So he played queen takes c7, I played bishop takes c8, so I've got rid of that bishop at least. But now he plays rook g6, I've got to play queen h3. And now I thought if he plays his knight to e6, he's practically winning, because my bishop's trapped, so I've actually got to take the knight. He takes back, save a take. And this ending should be a win for black, quite comfortably. But being the player he is, he went for the hack with bishop d4. So he's got potential rook takes g3 check cheapos. But now I can move my bishop back with tempo, rook back to g7. Because of course I can never take an h6 because of rook takes g3 check. And in fact now I was getting very paranoid about tactics on the g file, so I moved my king into h2, which is not very good. Knight came into g6, which is actually a blunder almost, because I played bishop e6 check, and actually now I'm getting I thought I was getting a third pawn for my piece, because of course now it's a fork. But I made a bad mistake actually. I should have played f4 before taking it. Although I'm not sure what difference this makes. Maybe Rbe1 can tell me. But I took it. And now he played this very annoying move, because now the d3 point's probably going to drop. I played rook Rbe1, rook b1, yeah, which is the best move, because if queen takes d3, which I was hoping for, I can play, maybe get some counter play and move the rook back. The queen has to stay on the bishop, and then queen g4, which attacks the bishop. It's going to move somewhere, gets off this dangerous diagonal, say. Can you play this? This is interesting. It's quite interesting, this actually. It's winning material back. So now we exchange for a pawn up. In fact, we get this pawn as well. Yeah, so maybe that failed as well. maybe it did work. It's very tactical lines in this game. Queen d2 though, which I think was the strongest. The strongest in this position I've got is the rook e6, which I looked at, but I thought just bishop takes f2. Now threatening discovery, but we've got the very calm king h1. And I've actually got quite a few threats in this position. I've maybe got the attack again. Say if he moves his bishop, so we've got stuff like bishop e4. If knight goes back, then he f6. Knight h7, f7. This is actually very dangerous. But I played rook d1 after, and I was both on the increment after remaining 7 moves because I'd spent too much time on that. But now it starts to slip away because I dropped this pawn. Rook came to b1 just to gain b7 back. But now I've still got 2 pawns to the piece, but my f2 pawn's attacked several times. So I have to play f4 in this position. I have to, it's horribly weakening. It's a must to stay in the game. But I played rook fc1, which is a catastrophic blunder because well, it drops a pawn with check for a start, but actually could have won instantly if rook takes b7. This just wins on the spot because if I grab the queen after rook takes f2 check, the only move to avoid getting mated is to give my queen back, and of course that is 2 pieces behind. If I grab the h6 pawn, then the rook returns and pins my queen to my king. And if I grab his rook, he takes, and I get mated. I mean, of course this is good enough. King h1, now queen g5, which is again not the strongest, but it was on the increment. It's still pretty easily winning. Bishop came to e4. Just King H7. Again, not the strongest, but keeps a strong advantage. Rook c6. And now I thought I expected him just to grab this pawn, making him a full piece up. For some reason he went rook back to f6. And I couldn't think of anything better than take it. At queen takes f6 we had reached the time control where we had got another 50 minutes, and this is the first of the game I had to reach the time control. Rook f1, attacking the queen, queen g5. This is lost, it's just a piece down for a pawn. I was very annoyed after the position I had earlier in the game. If I try rook f5 in this position, see, if I use this check, I go back. Then maybe queen c5. I played king h2 for some very strange reasons. It doesn't even do anything. Rook c7, threatened more nasty, so I went back to h1. And I played h5, trying to maul me and put my king side up. But then I lost this position, and I thought, if I can, he ain't got many pawns left, so why don't I try and get the queens off so I don't get mated, and then maybe try and win his last pawn, and rook and bishop versus a rook is a theoretical draw. So I played queen f5. And now he actually let him back into the game, a little sort of let him back into the game. If he plays something like king h6, and say if I take this, then this is over this, because he's still got 2 pawns left and his king's very active. But he actually took this pawn, so I take this one, we check. Now I swapped everything off. And this position, I thought this position was drawable because, well, not drawable, but drawing chances because he's only got 1 pawn left. But the only problem is they can't be swapped off, and the horrible thing is that his rook and bishop are a complete monster, and in fact this is completely lost. I played rook f4. Check. King g2, the only move, because if king h2, then that is resigns. Now this check. And I should have gone to f3, but I thought this just allows this simplifying technique. I think this should be a win. The reason I didn't allow this is this one thing. You notice the colour black's bishop controls the a1 square is the reason why I didn't want the rooks to come off. If this bishop was on b7 instead of b6 or any light square, all I'd have to do in this position is run my king to the corner and he can win both my pawns. It's irrelevant. It's a draw. I just give both my pawns up. But the problem is, it's on a dark square, so he can probably win. I think he can win both my pawns by force, and then it's a win. But I'm going to play it through actually, because I'm still not quite convinced it's a full win for black. Because we've got my king's very active. What do we play? Let's play a waiting move. Try this. Okay, that pawn's dropping. Can we try? Yeah, it's lost time. I've probably not played it through correctly. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me the evaluation, because I'm a patser. But I play king h3, which is obviously very bad. Bishop e5. I know my a pawn is dropping, but I tried protecting it, and rather embarrassingly I had to resign after king f5 because I can't stop the mate on h2, which was a rather tragic end to a very interesting game actually, which I probably shouldn't have lost, but I made far too many tactical oversights in this game. And some of my tactics is something that I'm going to have to work on if I'm to become a GM. But I hope you enjoyed this long game in the video, and stay tuned for round 6. Please leave in the comments some thoughts. Thanks very much.